Dopamine is the fuel for our habits, our desires, and unfortunately our addiction. We've created a system, a lifestyle, and a culture that revolves around this chemical. And as a result, we've all become addicts. We chase cheap dopamine hits on our phones with social media likes, mindlessly scrolling, binging shows, consuming junk food. But sometimes those hits we're chasing are actually a positive thing though, through exercise, learning a new skill, or achieving our goals. But even these good things can turn into cheap dopamine hits if we're not mindful about it. Without detoxing every now and then from this dopamine or from these dopamine-driven habits, even those hard-earned rewards of dopamine can lose their value. I think this topic is especially applicable right now because I've experienced massive rushes of dopamine from the growth of this channel. Welcome back to another episode of Sweat Talk. My name is Chad. Over the last 3 months, I've experienced this firsthand. Over the last 3 months, this channel has grown in ways that I never thought or I never could have imagined possible. And I am grateful for that. But that growth, it came at a price of constantly following and refreshing my analytics. I found myself constantly refreshing to check out those numbers because that dopamine hit from every comment and new subscriber, it's been exhilarating. And it just got to the point where I had to step back and detox from it. I took a week off, but not only to detox, I also needed to refocus and get some things done around the house. And you know what? That break reminded me of something extremely important that I talk about all the time. And that's that our energy and our focus is limited. And if we spend all of our time chasing those quick fixes, we don't leave anything on the table for what truly matters. And social media is one of the biggest traps of our time. It's designed to hijack your mind. Every notification and every like is designed to keep you trapped and hooked. But here's the thing, when we're scrolling on social media, oftentimes we're scrolling and searching things that don't align with us and they don't align with our values. We're giving that energy to something that doesn't align with our values. And what if we turn that around and instead start focusing on something that does serve us? If you put your phone down and you focused on one meaningful thing for just 90 days, you would be able to see growth that most will never realize. Growth that most people will never experience. Why? Because most people can't put their phone down for an hour. And this simple discipline is how you are going to be able to rise above the average person. This simple discipline is going to allow you to rise above average. And there's two types of dopamine. The cheap dopamine, this is the quick fix or the quick hit. It comes from things like social media, junk food, and impulsive habits. And it's easy to get, but it leaves you feeling empty. And the second type of dopamine is earned dopamine. And this one comes from hard work, learning, and growth. It is more challenging to obtain, but ultimately it's more fulfilling. And the key is to shift your focus from that cheap dopamine to that hard-earned dopamine. And here's the secret to focus, right? People often fail because they try to take on too much at one time. We commit to multiple tasks because we believe that we are able to multitask. But science disagrees, and multitasking effectively is nothing more than a myth. If you think about an assembly line, each worker on that assembly line is able to get more done in a more efficient manner because they are able to focus on one thing at a time. And the same thing applies to life. When you unitask, focus on one thing and you'll be able to unlock your potential. Imagine what would happen if you just focused on one skill for 90 days, focusing on mastering one skill for 90 days. No distractions, no excuses, just pure commitment. Those results would be absolutely extraordinary. Another trap that we fall into is comparison. Comparing yourself to others, it creates a cycle of depression. It feeds that victim mentality. Why can't I have what they have? Why can't I get ahead? Why am I stuck? But competition is completely different. When you compete with somebody, it pushes you to achieve more. For example, if you use competition for fuel to push you forward, you'll not only surpass others, but also your beliefs. This isn't about beating others. This is about becoming your best self. Once you commit to one thing, you will realize something profound, and that is that there is no competition. Why? Because most people are still trying to multitask, and they are stuck in that cycle of chasing cheap dopamine. When you're focused and disciplined, you'll begin to outthink and outwork everybody around you. And the ability to unitask becomes your secret weapon. And the beauty of this is once you start mastering one skill, incorporating another one becomes a million times easier. It almost becomes seamless. And that's not multitasking. That's building on a strong foundation. When you've achieved something that you've worked hard for, that dopamine rush hits different. It's not fleeting, it's fulfilling. You'll celebrate those wins. You're not celebrating those wins for recognition, but for the journey that it took to get there. And the best part about that is this shift transforms your addiction to social media and mindlessly scrolling into an addiction of winning. You'll begin to crave growth and self-mastery and progress. But as long as you are stuck in that cycle of doom scrolling, you will never be able to realize your true potential. This machine it's designed to steal your attention. It's designed to keep you stuck in mindless doom scrolling, preventing you from ever seeing any potential or realizing your dreams. Here's how to break free from that. Number one is to take time away from those cheap dopamine hits, that social media, that porn, that endless scrolling or binging. Turn off the news, put down the junk food. Number two is focus and commit to something for 90 days. That's it, just 3 months, 90 days. But commit to something that's meaningful, something that's going to propel you in the future, something that you can build off of. And then number three is earn it. Shift that energy from consumption to creation. Understand that dopamine is an extremely powerful force, and it can either control you or it can be harnessed to elevate you. That choice is yours. And if you're ready to break free from that cycle of cheap dopamine, the endless scrolling, and realizing your dreams, it needs to start today. Put down your phone and choose one thing. Reflect, meditate on it, pray on it. What is that one thing that you can focus your attention on? And when you realize what that one thing is, commit to that and start to realize that hard-earned dopamine. You'll not only begin to realize your potential, you'll not only transform your life, you'll begin to leave the competition behind and realize a level of fulfillment that most people never will. Here's a challenge. What is the one thing that you can focus on for 90 days? And as soon as you can figure that out, you will be off to the races in this journey that we call life. If you made it this far, do me a favor and go down in that comment section and write those words, hard-earned. Just those two words, hard-earned. Let's remind ourselves that the dopamine that we're chasing, the healthy dopamine that we are after, is the hard-earned dopamine. The dopamine that we will realize from success and completing our goals. The dopamine that's going to stick with us for the long term, that won't just fleet, because we can begin to build that foundation in pursuing the life of our dreams. So go find that one thing that's going to allow you to feel and experience that hard-earned dopamine, and then take some time to reflect and internalize that win deep in yourself and not seek validation. Hello. With that, I'm back. I took my break and I'm going to be back to posting regularly. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate you guys being here every single day. I want to thank you guys for all the super chats from the live stream the other day. The generosity was far beyond anything I ever expected. I want to thank each and every one of you guys that keep sending those super thanks too, because ultimately I can't believe the kindness that I'm experiencing. I want to thank you guys for sticking around this long and helping this guy pursue his passion and dreams, and motivating me every single day to keep going, to keep trying to get better, to keep getting better. Thank you for all the encouragement, guys. I appreciate it. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it. Thank you for showing up. I hope you guys are showing up for yourselves, and I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful day. Peace.